Hey guys, this is Angie, also known as The Light. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to, subscribe, and if you'd like to make a donation, my PayPal information is always in my description box. Alright, so today I want to talk about being the scapegoat for the narcissist or the narcissistic family. And I have experience with that because I was the scapegoat. I say was because my narcissistic grandmother is deceased now, which sadly to say turned out to be a blessing. Sad to say that someone's death became a blessing for me, but it did. First of all, the scapegoat is usually, to me, I would consider that the scapegoat is usually the strongest, the rebellious child, and the narcissist usually can tell this off the bat. From the beginning, when you were a child, they noticed your will, your strength, the fact that you were intuitive. They picked up, this is the person that I'm going to have the most problems with. And not problems like bad problems, but you're the one who's gonna basically check them on their shit. You're the child who is probably the most independent. And you just gave off this sense that you can read people's bullcrap, pretty much. And that's why they chose you. I feel I was chosen to be the scapegoat concerning my narcissistic grandmother was because I came from the scapegoat parent. My father was the scapegoat. I believe that she chose my father to be the scapegoat because I believe that he was the strongest out of her 3 children. My grandmother had 3 children. She had 1 girl and 2 boys. My uncle has mental illness, so I don't think that she would have chosen him because he has a disability, pretty much. But my father, it's really funny how him and I had a very complex relationship because after my mother divorced him, he really didn't want to be a father. He didn't want to be in my life. He had this attitude, if I can't be with your mother, then I don't want to deal with y'all at all. That was my awareness. I can never really speak for him because he is dead now. But that was what was told to me, and that was his behavior towards me. Okay. Now, my father has a different father from my aunt and uncle. So my grandmother got pregnant when she was 19 years old. She was from North Carolina. She moved to Harlem, New York, and she got pregnant when she was 19. This guy wasn't really her boyfriend. He wasn't her husband. He really wasn't anything serious, and he didn't marry her. So because he didn't marry her, she moved quickly on to the next man. And the following year, she was pregnant with my uncle from another man. She ended up marrying that man, and she had my uncle and she had my aunt. So my aunt, who was from my step grandfather, she was the golden child. My father was the scapegoat. I do not believe that my dad knew anything about narcissism. He played into everything that my grandmother did to him. Everything. And I've seen him with my own eyes and ears act out against the way that she treated him. But yeah, when my dad finally, I guess he moved out the house and, he basically got away from her, I feel that is when I kind of played more of the role of the scapegoat for my narcissistic grandmother. My aunt had 1 child, which she was the golden child. My aunt was the golden child and her daughter was the golden child. So this is my first cousin, and growing up, because we're I'm going to say we're about 10 years apart or less. I'm 34, so she's about 40 something. She's in her early 40s. I'm not really sure, but we're almost 10 years apart. So growing up, of course, when you're younger, you're going to admire your older cousins and things like that. But as I got older, I started to notice I wasn't being treated the same way as my first cousin. I thought in my head, one, I have a narcissistic grandmother. Two, I was being raised by a narcissistic stepfather. So my self-esteem, self-love did not exist. So I'm thinking as a child, my cousin must be better than me. She must be prettier than me. She must be smarter than me. There must be something about her that my grandmother is showing her more love and spending money on her and spending time with her, but not giving that same affection and love to me. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking growing up and seeing this. And I continued to be verbally and emotionally abused through the years and not knowing why. In my head, I was thinking because I'm not worthy and I'm not loyal of love, and if I wanted love, I had to act a certain way to get that love and to get that affection, that attention from my narcissistic grandmother, pretty much. There was never a relationship with the golden child in myself. If you don't know what the golden child is basically the child that the narcissist chooses to put all their love, attention. They buy gifts for this child. They basically make this child like their little god in a sense. And to me, I feel the golden child is usually the weaker one. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this and you are a golden child, it doesn't mean that you cannot grow as a person to be more independent and to have more self-worth and, to be able to speak up for yourself and be an adult, pretty much. But this one goes out to my scapegoats, okay? Honestly, I feel that the scapegoat has a greater chance in life to restore themselves because you're already used to being alone. You're already used to being separate from your family, okay? Growing up, I wasn't invited to Christmas dinners. I wasn't invited to, events and things like that. I was separated from the family. And the family never knew. It was like my grandmother made them hate me, but they didn't have no reason to hate me. I never did anything to them. I never stole anything, crossed them, backstabbed them. I didn't even see them. I would see them only when my father would bring me over there, and then as I got older, I parted ways from my father. So there was a time where I didn't see any of my family, okay? I was only seeing my grandmother, my not grandmother, because I would visit her from time to time, okay? But it wasn't until my 20s where me and my cousin had a conversation and she said, I didn't know that you were this cool. And I said, well, why would you think any otherwise? And she said, I just don't know. But of course, she's not going to tell me that our grandmother was talking shit about me my entire life, and I already know that that's what she was doing. This is what the narcissist does to the scapegoat. They create this image of you as if you're this unruly child and you're this failure and you didn't go to college or you don't have this great job and you're just the loser. But in actuality, you are everything that they wish they could be, because you possess all of those characteristics, all those qualities that they wish they was able to develop. But because they had such a effed up childhood, they have so much trauma, the narcissist putting on this facade and nobody truly knows them, but deep down inside they know that they're a wreck. You are everything that they want to be, okay? The scapegoat also takes the fall and also has to be responsible every time something bad happens. Let me tell you something. My grandmother never had to do much for me. Okay? I never went to her and asked her to, how can I say, rescue me from a situation, give me a large sum of money. I always, when I went to college, I didn't finish school, but when I did into school, I didn't ask nobody to co-sign for me. I built my own credit up. I didn't get pregnant at an early age. Not saying I'm against anything, but I'm just trying to tell you, I was looked at as a scapegoat. I was looked at as the loser, the one who would never be anything. But my record is actually squeaky freaking clean. Okay. I didn't get married, early to the wrong person, and just all these different things I just didn't do. I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying, for me to be the most hated in my family did not actually make sense. I actually, no offense, I'm better than my family. And the narcissist sees this from the beginning. You're nothing like them. You're nothing like your family. You're not. You're going to be the rebellious one. You're going to be the black sheep. Okay? You actually really don't need people like that. You can actually survive and make it on your own out there in the world, but they can't. They need people. They need to manipulate people, and that's something that you don't need to do. When my grandmother ended up with cancer, it wasn't the golden child that ran to her rescue. The entire year my grandmother was having surgeries, in and out the hospital, in and out nursing homes. It was me, the scapegoat, who took care of her after her surgeries, going back and forth to the hospital, going with her to her treatments, visiting her in the nursing home. Even when my grandmother died, the golden child didn't even fly to New York to help me plan the funeral. Guess who planned the funeral? Me, the scapegoat. The one that got mistreated. The one that got talked down on their entire life. The one who got treated like shit. But the golden child that she loved so much was busy stealing her money, didn't help me plan the funeral, and basically left me high and dry out there. And honestly, when I think about it, I don't care how much pain, how much shit I had to endure. I would rather be the scapegoat than be the golden child. Because the golden child can't survive on their own, but the scapegoat can. We're used to being by ourselves. We're used to being pushed away. We're used to figuring shit out on our own. But the golden child they never really emotionally develop the proper way. Yeah, the scapegoat has emotional issues too, but they're more independent. The golden child is always going to look for help. For example, if the golden child can never go to someone and say, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my car note, I have no groceries, they might try to kill themselves. But the scapegoat would say, it's all right, I'll go eat out the trash can, I'll take the bus. Okay? And I'm not going against golden children. I'm not jealous or anything like that. But the narcissist sets up the golden child for failure, future failure. Because they have to develop all over again. They have to mature. They have to learn independence. Where the scapegoat has to learn how to finally put themselves first, because they took the fall their whole entire life for everyone else. They put everyone's needs before them. And that F's you up too, because putting everybody first, you have nothing left for yourself. You end up stressed, you end up depressed, you end up in situations that if you would have put yourself first, you wouldn't be in. So they both, the golden child and the scapegoat, both end up in a sticky situation anyway. As far as the relationship between the golden child and the scapegoat, I don't really feel that them two can really have a great relationship. Me and my golden child cousin, we're only cool to a certain extent, you know. We're only cool because we own property together and we have to do business together. But I don't like her character. I don't like her character, and I know her character stems from the way that she was brought up. In her mind, she thinks that she's supposed to have it all. Even after my grandmother paid for her to get through college, bought her a co-op, bought her a car, paid her rent, gave her money for her kids. I mean, the list goes on. I got none of that, okay? Even when, you know, after all of that and my grandmother passed away, she still wanted to know how much money did my grandmother leave me, and how much, and to compare how much money my grandmother left her. After your whole entire life, you got everything. You still want to compare. I mean, I just feel like the golden children, some of them are most likely narcissists. A lot of them are narcissists. They're just spoiled brats. Okay, and no, I think there are some people out there who aren't narcissists, who were golden children, and that puts you in a real effed up situation where you have to learn how to mature emotionally, and you have to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet without somebody coming in and rescuing you. Scapegoats, if you are a scapegoat, if you feel that you are a scapegoat, the best thing for you to do, and what I learned to do to heal from this situation, I put myself first now. Like I said before in other videos, I do not care how I appear. I'm not here to rescue anyone. If I'm dating somebody and they're going through something, I'm not going to engulf myself into his problems. If I have friends who are going through something, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I'll be there for you. But I'm not going to make it my business to save you. I cannot save you. Only God can save you. Only you can save yourself, okay? So another thing, like I said before in another video, just because somebody runs to you for help, it's okay. You can say no. No, I can't help you. But maybe I can lead you to somewhere you can get help. It's not your problem. It's not your responsibility, golden children, scapegoats, to save people. And don't feel guilty about it. It's okay. If you want to save somebody, start working on yourself. Save you. Heal you. Heal that scapegoat child, inner child that's inside of you. If you really want to work on saving somebody, save your freaking self. Okay? Put yourself first. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, no, I don't want to go to that party. No, I cannot help you. No, I can't lend you money. No, I can't stay up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning listening to what your man did or what your woman did. And that is, to me, what the scapegoat has to learn. Is actually doing exercises to the point where you have to put yourself first. And the golden child has to learn, you ain't all that. You wasn't all that then. You're not all that now. And you have to come back down to earth. And you have to be humble. And you have to learn independence. And you have to learn that you were used too. You were abused as well. Nobody's all that to be praised the way you were. It was a form of abuse as well, because you need to learn humility. So hopefully this information was of help to you. And whether you're the golden child or you're the scapegoat, remember that we have a lot of healing to do. We have to admit it to ourselves, accept the fact that we both were abused. And if you can restore your relationship with your scapegoat or your golden child relative, try to. Okay, I will continue to do videos. Peace and blessings.